Welcome
to the Bring Me to Life podcast.
It's time to wake up
and shine on. Hello, beautiful light beings. Thanks for waking up and shining on with us.
Hey.
We're super excited to do another episode with you. We are live here again, so we are unfiltered and going for it.
Unfiltered.
Want to make sure that y'all get some good content before we roll into this holiday season. Been really excited about this episode because we're continuing our discussion on the Council of 13 and talking about some more angels and their connections. I know in previous episodes we've talked a lot about Archangels Michael and Raphael and Metatron. In this last episode we talked about several of the angels of the Council of 13, and I think we're going to talk about a few of the lesser known but some of my favorite angels today. And I'm excited to hear your opinion, CeeLo, and what you know about any of these angels, if you've even heard of them. And yeah, there's a lot of cool things happening. So many angels.
Yes. Episode 220 actually was the part one, I guess, of the Angels Council of 13.
Yeah,
and we didn't talk about Michael specifically on that one.
No, we haven't in that one, but we've done several angel episodes and several angel series before, and Michael is one that gets brought up pretty frequently.
Basically, every time we do angels, we talk about him. So
we wanted to do something else. We wanted to talk about some of our other favorite angels and give you some other high vibe beings to call into your reality if you haven't worked with them yet. Because if you didn't know, angels, they like to respect boundaries and they require permission to be in your life. For the most part, I mean, you do have guardian angels, and a lot of times people will generally speak to angels, be like, I just want my guardians. And the angels will take that kind of as their permission slip to help you, even if you don't know them by the collective names that they've been channeled into. But there are a few that I'm just really excited about. Yeah.
I just learned some stuff too myself. Like one of the angels that we're going to talk about today has become like a really cool angel that I'm really excited to work with more. Like I worked with angels for a long time, but like we said, there's a lot of them. We're focusing on 13 through this series, but one of them today that we're going to talk about, I am pumped about.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into Archangel Haniel, Jophiel, Asriel, and Raziel. Some of my favorite names to say, too, because they're just fun and funky. If you didn't know, I've been working with angels since I was about 4 years old. I started channeling them and working with them right before my mom passed away, and they just kind of brought me a lot of comfort, and I love to paint angels. So I've been working on a lot of different paintings of different depictions of the angels, and I think that each angel can show up in many different forms too. And sometimes, they can be depicted as a male or a female. The same angel has both masculine and feminine energies. They're balanced beings. So depending on each person, you may see them differently. Because angels come to us in a form that is most comfortable to us. So I've been painting even the same angel in many different forms. Like my Gabriel painting comes in different forms, and I have many different Hanuels, which we're going to, I think, dive into here first. And how long do you think you've been working with angels, CeeLo?
I would say I worked with them unconsciously, because when I was a kid, I would communicate, with, I guess, personalities. And so we would have conversations in my head, like very telepathic stuff. And I guess that's why I don't talk as much, because of that. But, I didn't realize what I was talking to until later on, when I began to open up to more of this. I was very connected spiritually as a kid, but I was also wrapped up in a little bit of dogma, a little bit of shame and guilt. And, when I began to open up more, I began to learn more about the angels, and I'm still learning about them.
I love it. So I think the first one that I wanted to dive into is Archangel Haniel.
Okay.
Hanuel. She's one of my favorites. I call it a she because usually she does come to me in a more feminine form. Hanuel, like I said, it has been represented as both masculine and feminine, but they don't really have specific genders. They're very like androgynous and fluid.
I feel like that's how the angels are. Yeah. And we love to see them as like more relatable, I think.
So Hanuel, I usually depict her as a female, and it's known as the Archangel of Joy and Fulfillment. So if you're dealing with intense emotions and you're looking for deeper happiness and maybe a deeper relationship to spirit and the angels in general, Hanuel is known to be the angel to call upon. So if you're feeling like hopeless, or you are not being able to take time to connect with the world around you, and you just can't seem to find joy in your life again, Hanuel is a good angel to call in. One of the ways to connect with her is by taking time to breathe and visualizing a light of healing color of your choice, very universal here, and she brings you joy through this healing light. So a lot of times when people say meditate and visualize a light around you, if it's not a specific color or a specific angel, it's probably a representation of Hanuel's joy coming into you. And she can send feelings of vibrations through your physical self. So if you ever feel like a sense of tingling vibrations
all the time,
it could be channeled from Hanuel, like a tingling joy or a shiver of joy. Or if you're like really sad and you feel that tingle up your spine, it's like a blessing from Hanuel. And she's also said to
do you think she's playing like little doop, 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 doop?
I wish people could see the way you just did that with your hands.
Like a little xylophone up your spine.
I think I see it more as like a tickle, like just kind of like tickling up your spine with Reiki kind of thing. Like
her wings.
Yeah, like their wings like caressing you.
Yeah,
but if you need encouragement or the feelings of the ability to move forward in dark times, Hanuel is known to be the angel that's there for you. She helps with personal growth. And here's a fun one that you might enjoy. You know how they say there's a man on the moon?
Yeah.
It's actually supposed to be Hanuel. Hanuel is the goddess and angel of the moon and the presence of bright light at night, because she sheds light through the darkness.
It's been shining like a lot recently.
Yeah, so we just had a full moon eclipse, and usually I don't really like eclipses, but I've been calling in Hanuel more into my life, because as the winter months are coming in, I've just kind of felt sad and frustrated because like summer seemed to just go by so quick this year. And I was just like, I just want some joy. And like usually I don't like eclipses. They just bring this like eerie feeling to me, but this time the moon was like so bright even through the eclipse that I felt this sense of deep healing. Like there was a shift in the air, and it was really powerful. It was actually on your birthday.
Magic.
Happy birthday, CeeLo.
Yeah.
Birthday week still, basically.
Yeah.
As we shift out of Scorpio season.
You're welcome. That was literally my gift to the world.
Working with Hanuel to give gifts to the world.
Exactly.
Calling in that angel of joy.
Hanuel, great job. Great work. You're a great teammate. I love teamwork. Go us.
Another fun thing that Hanuel is known for is being able to help you release blocks in yourself and call in abundance.
Yes.
And stability.
Nice.
She wants you to thrive and not just survive, because she wants you to live a joyous and happy life.
That's what I love too. I want to work more with Hanuel.
Yeah, Hanuel is one of my favorites. I have several different paintings of Hanuel.
Nice.
And
abundance. Yes.
Yeah. So she's powerful. That vibration, the Hanuel vibration. I need to stop saying she, but I see it as a female. Yeah. Maybe that's just what's in my brain.
It's okay.
But their energy is just so powerful, and like I think it's because I see it as motherly, like that mom that just wants you to be happy and wants you to be taken care of and wants to bring you joy and to not see you sad.
Wants to make sure you have enough money for food and all the things.
And when you need encouragement, like that dream mom or grandma even. Usually I see her as like a younger female, but she could be a grandma too. There's like nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. There's some magical grandmas out there.
Hanuel coming in clutch with the joy vibes.
Hanuel. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, Hanuel is an angel that I have worked with very much. So, I mean, maybe not consciously, I think we all work with the angels a lot unconsciously.
I feel like I connected with Hanuel a lot when I was manifesting the shop space. Yeah. I was looking for a deeper sense of joy, and like I wanted that space to be a portal of joy for others. And I was also calling in abundance, because not only was I creating abundance for myself, I wanted to create abundance for all the artists that were working with me. And I think that's the first time I really kind of consciously crossed paths with Hanuel. Hanuel, Jophiel, and Ariel are probably my like closest feminine energies that I embody and call in and try to work with. And at one point I wanted to create, and I still do want to create, like huge life-size paintings of angels, and I wanted to use references of my friends that depict the earth angels, and I was going to make myself probably a version of Hanuel, because that's when I was like super joyful and like everything was just like in alignment. And I still feel that way in a lot of different ways.
I mean, you're getting, I mean, those angels, some of them out there are pretty life-sized.
Yeah, it's like the first stage. So if you like my angels now, I'm hoping that they just keep evolving. I think I'm getting like the stances and the way I want them to like stand down, and then I'm gonna like work on more features, bringing them to life. But I wanted my first angel series of paintings to kind of be faceless in a way, so that others could see their depictions in them as well. So that's kind of why I keep most of my angel paintings faceless right now.
Yeah, I love kind of seeing myself in a lot of characters and stories, and it's a powerful insight to have when you can kind of like look through the eyes of another person's experience and kind of like feel along with it. You know? Yeah,
it's a unique vibration and experience to have, for sure.
Yeah. So, are you still working with Hanuel right now?
Am I still in like the present, or are you asking if I'm still talking about them?
Still talking about them, but do you have an affirmation or anything that you can share for them?
Yeah, the affirmation for Hanuel. So she's kind of open to your interpretation of color. It's not one. I usually put like blues and purples, but I think that's because those are my favorite colors. Yeah. But the affirmation is, I give myself permission to experience joy and fulfillment.
Nice. Yeah. Sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to have that. So yeah.
So you want to talk about the next angel? I think this is one of the ones you're more excited about.
Yeah, Jophiel. Just learning about Jophiel, Archangel Jophiel, has been a really awesome experience for me, because I'm so into creativity and being creative and seeing beauty in things, and that's what Jophiel is all about. Yeah.
So Archangel Jophiel, another angel that I've been working closely with since I started getting more into this angelic work. They, them. They're the angel of internal beauty and love for oneself. So their vibration is to help you accept the divinity and beauty of your own soul beyond external appearances. It also is to help you, glow in your own physical vessel. So if you're struggling with self-love or your self-image, or maybe you're not happy with something insignificant, or you're struggling with your body's weight or appearance in general, Jophiel is there to help you, work through that and to really love yourself. So I know I have a couple of birthmarks and even scars that made me uncomfortable, especially growing up. I have a birthmark on my eye that a lot of people used to point out. And working with Jophiel, it kind of gave me a comfort in making me feel more unique, and kind of seeing it as part of my superpower. It's like part of my superhuman uniqueness, and like the fact that I get visions. But before that, I was like really sort of traumatized when people would comment on it, and it was just not very fun.
Right. Yeah, but even Harry Potter had a lightning bolt on his head, and it would hurt sometimes when like something was going on. So
yeah,
he was marked, but it helped him. It was part of his life path, his journey to becoming who he was.
Right. So if you're somebody out there that, has a unique feature that maybe you struggle with accepting, Jophiel is your angel to work with, to call for comfort in that. Yeah. Jophiel also helps us see the beauty in the world around us, and the connection to all things that engages our mind with physical presence and beautiful experiences. So if you're feeling like your life is just sort of boring or mundane, or you're not able to like see the joy in the world around you, you can call on both Hanuel and Jophiel, and Jophiel will help you see the beauty in it, and Hanuel will help you feel the joy again, so that like if you're dealing with a lot of just being numb or frustrated or angry at the world, these are two really beautiful angels to work with together in unison. They also, so they not only help with self-doubt, but they can help you work through imposter syndrome, like feeling like you're not good enough, because who are you not to shine? Right. I feel like that whole quote by Marianne Williamson is like a channeling from Jophiel and Hanuel. It's like, who are you not to be beautiful and empowering? And who are you not to shine your light and allow others to feel that they also have permission to shine their light? Like that. Yeah. I need to find that quote because it's one of my favorites to share on everything. And I feel like it's just a straight up channeling from Jophiel. Yeah. I think we all deserve to feel that way. And like, we all have something to offer to this world if we just look into our hearts and we feel into that and we do what we know is going to make us happy. Like being creative, like doing things that you love, raising your vibration is going to help the world. Right. So Jophiel gives us confidence to tap into that frequency to help raise up the world and to raise each other, and is a reminder of how divine you truly are just as you are. Like you don't need to, be anything more than what you already accept and present. It's sometimes just about appreciating that you're enough. So Jophiel helps find the beauty of life and self-love, and it's usually represented as a female. But she's open to different interpretations, as they all are. And she's also the patron of the artists. So she helps channel inspiration and raise the vibration. And they also help cleanse and organize the home in spaces. So when you're cleaning your house and you're just so frustrated and you can't find the beauty in your home and your feng shui is all off, you can just take a nice deep breath and be like, Jophiel, help me release all of that, which is not bringing beauty to my life. Like, please just help me release it. Help me find joy in the little things. Help me feel as what I have is enough to make this place beautiful, or whatever it is you need. Like maybe you just moved in a place and you feel like you don't have anything and nothing is pretty, and Jophiel can help you find the beauty in it. Or if you're in a cluttered space and you're just overwhelmed and you don't know where to start and you need help organizing, Jophiel is your angel to call upon. I have an affirmation for Jophiel. And it is, I am beautiful and powerful in my own presence. I love it. Yeah. I love it. What a wonderful angel. Yeah. Another good affirmation is, please help me see the beauty in all the things around me. I think that's another good one. See the beauty in all things around me. Yeah. And I have one more fun fact about Jophiel, and we can move on to another angel I know you're excited to talk about. But another fun fact about Jophiel is she's sometimes seen as the feminine version of Michael, because she's one of the only other angels that has a flaming sword. Oh, dang. But her sword is yellow, and it's the sword of wisdom, where Michael's is the sword of protection. And Jophiel's flaming sword, it helps bring the wisdom and inspiration. So if Michael is busy protecting you, she brings wise protection of like kind of like more the creative book smarts, where Michael's got like street smarts going on. So like I just see these two angels as like the masculine and feminine balance. So he's the protector and she's the one who brings beauty. So like if he's protecting you from destruction, she can like uplift you and bring you back from the darkness. Yeah, that's really awesome. I had an idea that there's no backing to this. I haven't done any research, but I had this idea that what if, when people get knighted, they use a sword. That's like inspiration and wisdom that they're like containing when they're knighting people. Maybe that's like a human representation of fucking Jophiel's sword. Yeah, something like that. Or Michael and Jophiel's, because they like bounce it on both your shoulders. Yeah. So it's like on one side you're getting the ability to be like strong and protective and very knight-like, and on the other side you're getting wisdom and inspiration and finding joy in your accomplishments, kind of thing. So yeah, creative thinking, bringing them angels in to bless the knights. Yeah, good job, world. Wow. I'm like, I think that's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty cool to think of the angels with their magical swords.
Yeah, and how they influence the world like for a long, long time. Long time.
Speaking of an angel that's been around for a long, long time, I think the next angel we're going to talk about is one of the most well-known but also misunderstood angels.
Ooh, yeah, this one is a very interesting angel, and I have some stories that are kind of like eye-opening about what kind of angels are represented in the religions and different like belief systems.
So we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive here into the vibration of the angel known as Asriel, which is sometimes called the angel of death, the Grim Reaper, a darker depicted angel. Angel of destruction. There's a lot of scary names, but honestly, like I said, I think Asriel is one of the most misunderstood angels, because for me, I feel like Asriel is an angel I've also been working with since I was a very young girl, because I lost a lot of people really fast. I lost 8 people in 8 years, starting at the age of 6, and seeing a lot of death and destruction in that time frame is like super traumatic. But at the same time, I had a sense of peace and comfort. Like there was always a presence there with me. And I think it was a combination of all the different angels. But Asriel is known as an angel that not only helps transitioning souls, but also comforts the souls of those that have lived on and that are dealing with grief and dealing with sadness. And there's this dark connection to it, because a lot of people fear death. So they see this angel, if Asriel comes and the angel of death's coming, kind of as something to be afraid of rather than a warning of protection or love. And Asriel to me actually comes with a sense of love. I honestly, personally, I get more frustrated at Gabriel's energy than Asriel's energy, because I don't know why, but Gabriel's energy has shown up to me with like warning messages of deaths, where Asriel has brought me comfort in knowing that 1, the souls aren't alone, and 2, that Asriel brings a connection to the spiritual realm. So Asriel is one of the main angels that will transcend time and space and travel from the spiritual realm back to the physical with messages of loved ones that have passed. So being someone who is, I hate the term medium, but somewhat of a medium, and I speak to spirits of those that have released themselves from the physical, I feel like Asriel does a lot of that channeling with me and helps kind of translate things for me when spirits are still a little confused in how to relay messages to the physical world, because it is a different form of communication. And Asriel can have like a calming presence that's really able to help you embrace feelings of transition and fear. And most physical beings don't often see Asriel, but you feel Asriel as a presence. Especially if you're present with another being when they're passing, or if you're looking for comfort. So Asriel spends a lot of time in like hospitals and nursing homes, and like obviously angels can be anywhere at any point in time. They transcend time and space, but that presence, that kind of almost heavy presence that you feel, is the love that is radiating throughout those spaces of hospitals and nursing homes, and even like at home when someone's in hospice or something of the like, or funeral homes. That heavy presence, it's actually love. Because one of the things that I've worked with a lot is grief, and a phrase that has stuck with me is, grief is all the love you have to give with nowhere for it to go. And Asriel shows up in times of transition to help you figure out how to navigate that love and to express that love and honor that love. And I think one of the reasons people are so afraid of Asriel is because not only are they afraid of death, but they're afraid of unconditional love and what happens to a person that has so much love for someone who has passed. So if you're looking for comfort for those that have already transitioned, Asriel is able to help build a deeper connection in comfort, and helps give signs and knowing if that person has transitioned safely. They give us the ability to feel at ease so that we're not as distraught during like services and things for the loved ones that have passed. And I mean, why would you not want your loved one that has transitioned to have a guardian on that mission to the spiritual realm? So not necessarily a Grim Reaper, but a guardian. I see Asriel as they bridge us to the afterlife, and they bring a sense of harmony to the dimensions as they release stress and anxiety and the sadness and loss of people, places, and things. So not only does Asriel help in the passing of loved ones, but Asriel also helps, through breakups, through transitions in jobs, transitions in moving. Asriel helps with all different levels of grief. And another thing that Asriel does is Asriel works really closely with Metatron and helps create a sense of safety when traveling to and exploring the Akashic records. So Metatron's like the keeper of the records, but when someone passes over and goes into spirit realm, you know how they talk a lot about like the life, the life review, like your life flashes before your eyes. That's actually channeled by Asriel. Asriel, before coming to collect or help souls travel, will connect to their life review message through the Akashic and bring them that energy so that they can review life with them and not feel so alone, and then will, kind of reflect and help guide them to their next chapter in the afterlife or the beyond, and then kind of communicates with Metatron where that soul has kind of learned a lot or where they're struggling, so that they can review the life soul's contracts and create the next path together. So you work with your higher self and Metatron and Asriel to kind of figure out what your next step is, whether you want to like be reincarnated, whether you feel you've learned enough messages as this soul's entity, if you want to fractal out. There's a lot of really interesting things that are connected to Asriel in the life review, and how to understand your soul's contracts and life's questions. And if you choose to be reborn. So I do a lot of work with Asriel in past life hypnosis and in just general Akashic sessions. Asriel is such an underrated angel, and I think that a lot of people would benefit about knowing more about the frequency that is Asriel.
Yeah, I agree. Did you know that Azrael is supposedly a record keeper of every birth and every death? And in some religions, they say that he is constantly writing in a book.
From the Akashic records, yeah.
Writing the people who are born and erasing the people who pass away.
So kind of like Father Time, too, in some crazy ways. So Azrael's just like, got such a bad rap at being the Grim Reaper, but, it's got some pretty cool jobs. Yeah. Pretty powerful jobs.
I feel like I unconsciously channeled Azrael once when I lived in a little town in Michigan called Bridgman. Mm. And every summer they have this it's like a block party basically, where the whole community comes together and kind of drinks and dances like in this giant parking lot. And right next to that parking lot is a train tracks of a train that goes pretty fast sometimes. And one of the nights, the train hit somebody and killed them. Mm. And it was pretty tragic. Like, there was a ton of police. There was, like, a lot of firemen. Like, it was a pretty big thing in the community. And that night I was there. And when I found out what happened, I kind of just went into, like, channel mode. And I walked over, like, as close as I could without going past the barricade, and kind of knelt down on the ground and started praying. And I was praying for the transition of this soul that just passed. And I envisioned basically being on a dragon, one of those long dragons, not really one with like wings, but one that's really long and squiggly. And it was taking the soul to the next place it was going. And I was riding with it and like telling the soul, basically, it was very confused of what was happening. And I basically, in this vision, was telling the soul what was going on. Mm. And saying that everything was going to be all right. Like, and it was very intense channeling. At one point, like, one of the police officers was like, "Did you know them?" And I was like, "No, I just felt like praying." But it was a very powerful, like, meditation. I felt like now that we're learning more about Azrael, like, it could have been like a moment where I was able to kind of hold space for that energy.
Azrael is such a powerful energy. Like, even just talking about them and doing so in a positive light, I can feel this sense of like deep connection with this vibration. And again, maybe it is because I've worked with Azrael for so long. I have several stories where I feel like I've connected with Azrael. I get a deep sense of warning before big things happen in my community, especially with younger souls or souls I have crossed paths with. I remember the day before the last day of my 8th grade year, having this like fear and this deep sadness. And like usually when the end of school year comes, like everyone's like so excited. It's like summertime. People are like really excited to just like have school be over. But I remember the night before 8th grade ended, I had this sense of like really sad energy, and I wasn't sure exactly why, but I knew that the next day was going to be just really different. And I was like, oh, maybe it's because it's like the last day of middle school. But one of the boys that I had went to school with for basically my last like 4 or 5 years of school, it actually ended up being one of my friend's cousins. He fell off of like a 4-wheeler and cracked his head and passed away. And the entire school was just so sad. Yeah. It was just like, but then at the same time, like I remember like being in a group of people and hearing this whisper of stop being sad. It's okay if you want to be sad, but start talking about good stories. Like share something good that you experienced with this person. And like I was close with them, but not really close with them. Like I was kind of a weird kid that had a lot of friends but no friends at the same time. Like I knew everybody. And like I'd had good times with them, but like they weren't my best friend or anything. But I felt such a deep connection to them in that moment, and like shared a funny memory. It's something he had done in science class, and it like shifted the whole mood from like all these girls crying and stuff to like people experiencing the joy of what his life was. And we found ways quickly in like being able to memorialize him. And I remember the next year and in my senior year, I was in charge of the yearbook. So I made sure that we like included a memorial for him and one of the other kids that we had lost in our journey, because it felt really important. And I don't know if they had really done that in other yearbooks, but like they were a part of our class. And
should be in there for sure.
Right. And I felt this like guidance from an angel, and I'm assuming it was Asriel that was like include them and like witness their soul and bring comfort to their friends and their families, so that, you know, when people are older and they look at this yearbook, they'll remember something beautiful about this person. I had something similar happen with like a feeling when one of my other friends transitioned, and it was a very very sad and intense transition for this person. And I remember having that sense of fear and kind of sadness and scaredness, like you said, where the soul was just confused. And I went into like such a deep meditation and just kind of allowed silent tears to roll down my face, and just like sending as much love as I could to the soul, because they had actually been very tragically attacked. I'm just going to leave it at that. And they were a little confused. So it almost was like Asriel was like, this soul needs somebody who can connect with angels and spirit. Can you like hold space and help guide them and let them know it's going to be okay, just like you did. Like you felt the calling. And I have a few clients that do that too, where they're like, I just feel like I help people who have died to the afterlife, and they're like, I don't know why I'm doing it, I don't know how I'm doing it. And they'll be like, I just sort of meditate and I feel their soul come into my presence, and I send like a blast of energy.
Yeah,
and
the
like,
blast. I know the blast.
And like guide it through the veil. And
I've done that a few times at events, like one with you and then one at a rainbow, where these people just fell and it was like their bodies were still there. They were still alive.
Dude, I'm pretty sure you brought that one guy back to life. Like,
yeah.
I think for sure he was about to cross the void. I think he was tripping and he was on some sort of drugs, and it was very terrifying. Yeah. And you literally just like held your hands above him, and it did look like you had taken over like the angel of death, and you just like pushed his soul back into him.
I felt like this energy, and I went like, boom, and I just felt this rush of energy, and I stood back, and it took a few seconds. I was like, oh, maybe nothing happened. But then he just shot right up like the Undertaker in WWE. It was like shot up, and
you literally pushed his soul back into him.
I looked into his eyes the very next day, and I could tell he like remembered my energy, but was kind of ashamed.
Right. And like everyone else that witnessed that experience was just like so blown away by what you had done too. Like someone we know, she like later was just like, I will never forget that. Like that was such a powerful moment.
That's probably why they like me.
I'm glad they like you.
Yeah, but that happened another time at a rainbow gathering. Some guy was the same, and those things just kind of naturally happen. Yeah,
it's a wild experience. But one of my clients, they work with the spirits that have passed, and they call upon Asriel, and they were getting to a point. They asked me like, how could they not allow all these spirits into their home, because it was like starting to affect her child, and like she was okay with it, but her children weren't okay with it. But she had also seen it as like part of her life's mission to help guide these spirits, and these are spirits she doesn't really know. Should they just like find her? Because some of us channel angels, some of us channel and decide to be a being of light, and when you radiate a beacon like that, spirits will come to you. Yeah. Like it's just part of the job, I suppose.
It's like a bright light, like moths, right? They're just attracted to it.
They're just drawn to it like a flame. So I suggested to her to like collect rocks on one of her walks, and to create a circle in her yard, and to put crystals in it too, and that when she feels guided to do that work, to go stand or sit in the circle, and that's her transitioning circle. So souls now know to meet her there instead of in her home, and it's her space to like do that kind of work. And she said ever since she's done that, she's felt so much more grounded and so much more helpful, and like they know to just kind of hang out there. And she's like created this magical space in her property, in her yard, for souls to like transition. So I feel like I like channeled that to her from Asriel.
That's like crazy, like a little hot spot.
Yeah, so now she's created a portal. Yeah, like she created a portal to the afterlife. A portal going. Yeah, exactly. Isn't that wild though?
I wonder how the spirits know to go there though.
She activated a crystal and put it in.
Do you think that crystal is like a bright light to them?
I mean, if she set that intention, why not?
I'm just wondering how that works. Like,
I don't know.
Maybe we'll know one day.
I believe in miracles and things that can be experienced but not explained.
Yeah, I fully believe that as well. You know, the astral world, I've been there. Like, I've experienced that world before.
Yeah, I just think it in like, I think you talked about it in the last meditation or the last podcast, and I don't know if you said that you thought it was a specific angel, but you've talked about how your sister Shannon passed away in a car crash, and your mom said she saw a few specific angels, but I think that Azriel was definitely there in that moment. And I think she also connected deeply with Archangel Michael personally, from when I've connected with her in those experiences. And it's just so beautiful the way that your mom kind of depicted it too, because that had to have been such a tragic experience for her. It's like so traumatic
super traumatic
to lose her daughter, and
in such a way,
and to also be in a wreck. Like, being in a wreck alone is traumatic, and then your kids are involved. Like, but your mom, at least now, handles it in such a peaceful way, because she said she just felt so comforted by the angelic experience that was around her.
Yeah. It probably saved her. Like, she could have committed suicide, and I never would have been here, like, in this life, in this kind of life.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, Asriel is with souls when they make that decision, and Asriel tries to bring grounding to the soul, because a lot of people assume, you know, if someone commits suicide, they're going to a hell space, and it can be that, you know, like they get stuck in a little bit of a loop. I don't like calling it a hell loop, but
like in Lucifer.
Yeah, but personally, I think what happens is the only way you go into some sort of energetic hell is if you judge yourself. Like, God gives you free will. I don't necessarily think that, there's a sky daddy up there judging us, telling us, if we're going to go to heaven or hell. But I think that, like we go through our own life review and decide what we're worthy of. And Asriel tries to walk us to heaven to the best of his ability.
Nice. I fully resonate with a lot of that. There's a movie with Robin Williams. I think it's called What Dreams May Come.
It is. And that movie, it rips me apart.
Yeah,
it's such an intense movie.
It's super intense.
And then knowing what happened to Robin Williams. Oh, my heart. My heart.
Yeah. But, in that movie, like, it's very similar, where they have loops that they go through. Like, the hell that is created is through their guilt, and it just keeps getting more and more intense. And in the movie, Robin Williams has to go and find somebody who's in one of those loops.
What a powerful movie, man.
Yeah, but then there's also the other side of it where, like, it was so beautiful and he was just loving his life. He was loving, like, everything he could do.
Throughout the movie, there's, like, guardians that help him, and they're both, like, loved ones, but also I think it's forms of Asriel throughout it. I don't know if Asriel is actually ever mentioned. Asriel just, like, usually you don't hear of them even as Asriel. You hear it as, like, the Grim Reaper or the Angel of Death, but I think Asriel is a much more beautiful name. Yeah. But he also has other names, correct?
Yeah, there's, well, I'm not sure if it's another name for this angel or if it's a different one, because there's another angel referred to as the Destroyer or the Destruction, and they're called, their name is Abaddon, and apparently it's a fallen angel that is very similar to the Lucifer angel, and they're just mentioned in like the rabbis' lore, like Jewish culture and stuff like that. Like, Abaddon's referred to as that kind of angel of death, but there's also like
so it's like a combination of the angel of death and Lucifer.
Kinda
interesting.
And it's mentioned along with 13 other angels of death in, like, the Hebrew religion.
So there are 13 angels of darkness in there.
14.
Right? Oh,
13 plus Abaddon.
That's interesting. Anything else you got for me?
There's a lot of other angels along with Azrael that are, like, considered death. I guess something interesting I could tell you about Azrael. Apparently they are giant with like 4,000 wings and 70,000 feet.
So, fun fact, in most religious context, angels aren't seen as the typical humanoid winged beings that we know of them today. I like to see them as humanoid winged beings, but angels themselves are actually depicted as pretty crazy looking creatures with so many eyes.
Yeah, this one has
so many wings,
thousands of eyes and
kind
tongues.
of. Yeah, it's almost like creepy and dark.
Yeah, kind of creepy. I think we can see them differently,
Well, to me, this is kind of my interpretation of it, is what was happening is when other beings saw those representations of the angels, they were seeing all the different forms of them at once, and they were moving so fast on our level. Yeah, they were vibrating so fast that, like, we were seeing them in fractals. And, like, instead of seeing a humanoid form, we saw it almost as like a ball of light with wings. And the eyes are the portal to the soul. So if angels have even their own form of, like, an angelic soul, they knew to connect with us through eyes, because that's how we see the physical world. So their eyes stuck out to us the most, because humans, we're kind of, some of us are trained to look into other people's eyes, and some of us are, like, very hesitant to look into other people's eyes. I'm a little bit of both, depending on the person. But beings that were, like, trying to understand what these angels were just staring into their eyes, and it was so much for their perception to understand. They just saw thousands of eyes and thousands of wings, because they were just, like, so mesmerized by it. So when they would draw pictures of it in, like, hieroglyphic form or in very, like, basic structure, they would be seen as almost these insane creatures with so many wings. But I do believe Asriel is very big. Like, the presence of Asriel is very big. That's why sometimes, like I said, hospitals and nursing homes can feel heavy.
Yeah. I think it would be amazing to see an angel like in the physical, but I do believe you would have to be a very high vibration unless the angel is able to lower their vibration enough, because this physical density is like a low vibration, and everything is made up of waves, our atoms, light, sound, like all that, and so their vibration, because it's so high, like we have to raise our vibration. And I think it would be easier to do it like back in the day where they're like meditating constantly. They don't have a lot of distraction with social media. Like that stuff is widely accepted and believed in, so it had more power even. So it was more accessible for people to raise their vibration that much to even see like a fractal or a fraction or like just a piece of an angel, because like they vibrate pretty high.
I think now too, as we've evolved as beings and our consciousness has become more aware, we've learned how to channel angels specifically through our bodies. Like there are people I know are very much earth angels. Like they're, whether they're doing it consciously or subconsciously, they're allowing angelic energy to process through them into this world.
Yeah, plus those people who hold that down,
Right. I mean, I think my great grandmother was one of them. I'm actually like, my middle name's after her. But anytime I talk to people that knew her, they'll be like, "Oh, you're such a little Julia. That woman was like such an earth angel. I love that you're like connected with angels now." And like people always talk about my great grandma being an earth angel, and they just said that she like radiated this light, and she had like pure white hair that was just like long and kind of flowy. Like she wasn't the most beautiful woman. She was very eccentric in her own right, but she was very beautiful. Very Appalachian, but she was beautiful in the way she presented, in the way that she treated others, and people like adored her. And when I had my shop too, I've seen people walk in that just embodied an angel. Like their aura was just so powerful when they would just bounce in there that I'd just be like, well, that person's channeling Michael, or that person's channeling Hanuel today. Like I needed a sign, but dang, like that person just like embodied that frequency. And usually they just didn't even know. Every now and then somebody would be like, "So do you like angels?" And I'd be like, all right, this person's on my frequency. But yeah, embodying angels is like such a powerful thing.
I think my Grandpa G was an angel.
Oh yeah?
He embodied like a very calm, cool, like funny, like he was always joking and tickling people's ear. And
as soon as you said that, for some reason I felt Zadkiel. I don't even remember. We're gonna talk about Zadkiel I think in the next episode, but Zadkiel for some reason came to my mind when you said something about your grandpa. Oh, he's the angel of forgiveness and release, and like deep connection and like solitude.
That's good. That sounds nice. I think he plays with like, because my sister has dogs, and sometimes I'll see them chasing nothing after nothing, like up and down the stairs, and sometimes they'll see, and then they'll watch, and I'll watch exactly what they're looking at. There's no light, there's no bug, there's literally nothing, and they're watching it. And I think sometimes my grandpa likes to play with pets, and we'll like, somehow, I don't know.
Well, your sister's dog lived with your grandma for a hot minute too, so like probably got like used to that energy being in his like home space. So that's pretty cool. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with Asriel? Because I think there's one more angel I'd like to talk about before wrapping this up.
No, I think that was really good, really awesome.
So I know that we're going to do a part 3 because we do have some more angels to talk about. But I want to tap into Raziel for a moment. Okay. Mainly because we mentioned it in the description. So let's talk about Raziel.
Talk about Raziel.
So Raziel is another really neat angel that works closely with Metatron and Sandalphon. So like basically all the angels work as a team. But you know, there's like a little bit of a hierarchy, and then there's like these like sub crews that are like special ops. And I see like Metatron, Sandalphon, and Raziel and Asriel as like the special ops. Because Raziel is the angel of secrets, mysteries, and clarity. And if you're soul searching for answers, or you're wanting to dive deeper into like the mysteries or conspiracies of life's magic, you can call upon Raziel for deeper insight into creative ideas and creative expression. So finding ways to express the ideas into the reality. So like inventing new things and like bringing things to life from the spiritual to the physical realm.
So like Jophiel gives you creative inspiration, and then Raziel helps you to bring it into form.
Right. And then Metatron is in charge of the Akashic. So he's like, all right, is this going to be okay for humanity to like embrace this experience?
So he lets the ideas out.
He kind of like lets them out, and then Sandalphon's like, all right, I'm going to take this frequency and I'm going to work with Raziel and bring this to life. So like Raziel and Sandalphon are like the creators of new ideas and new inventions, and Sandalphon helps bring the wish and the idea of the concept to life, but Raziel helps bring clarity to how that's done as you dive deeper. And I think Raziel could be whatever, they bring like a sense of like knowing, and doing so with like a humble attitude and like staying grounded. Because, you know, sometimes when people get into like inventions or like new ways of creating something, or even like something that could be considered a conspiracy, they can go like all in and lose any sort of grounding. But Raziel really like starts to ground it into the physical, and also sort of like helps radiate it out into the collective. So I think that's why, so Jophiel and Raziel, they like radiate this energy out into the collective. And I think that's why so many people get similar ideas at the same time too, especially artists, like in like the spiritual workers, like everybody
people make
like
similar things in different parts of the world, like at the same time,
right? And then like it's weird like how different communities all of a sudden will be like all in on something like right at the same time. And like some people will fight over like who came up with the idea first, but Raziel is usually the one that's like, it doesn't matter who came up with it first, like we're here to bring this into the physical because humanity is ready for it, so please like embrace it,
be a good channel.
And Raziel's both gentle and fierce with this when it's time for the collective to evolve, especially when individuals choose to kind of wake up and shine on. Like they're there to welcome that experience into our life so that we feel the deeper sense of magic. So if you're someone who's like just getting into your awakening journey, you're really looking for a deeper connection, but you're also a little overwhelmed and you want a deep sense of understanding the miracles that are around you, Raziel is your angel. So while working with Raziel, you'll probably feel a deeper sense of synchronicity and extrasensory perception. You'll start tapping into like your clairvoyance and clairaudience and clairtangency and like all your clair senses, all those extra super power senses.
Come on in, clairs.
And Raziel works with Metatron in delivering angelic numbers. Nice. So like not all of your angelic numbers are Metatron, because Raziel finds ways to speak to you and give you synchronicity and to help you create a communication with spirit. So Raziel helps you come up with basically a language for you to understand spirit, whether that's through a deeper sense of smell or taste or feeling or whatever it is.
Certain colors.
Yeah. So Raziel actually translates into the secret of God. So it's like the secret understanding that God is within you. And Raziel helps bring that mystical experience and also gives people visions. And sometimes people will say they're the angel of like hallucination. So if you're having maybe a bad trip or a bad dream or just a bad time, you can call upon Raziel to keep you grounded.
Help me, Raziel.
They send messages through divine frequency. So if you don't feel like a happy, joyous tingling and you're feeling like a jolting tingling or like a jolting feeling, that could be, like shocking, could be Raziel, because they're trying to help you keep a deeper connection with source and consciousness. Raziel helps you let go of old beliefs and any questions that you may have about the spiritual realm and can guide you to information. So if you're like looking for a book to help you or looking for a person or a place or a thing to help you in your next part of your spiritual journey, Raziel is who you want to call upon. And if you're having issues with dreams or wanting to astral travel or lucid dream, Raziel is your angel to call upon because they work with Metatron. So they work with the Akashic in time and space.
I love astral projection. Like, I'm surprised it's taking me this long to hear about that.
I thought you'd like that part. I was saving it for you. Raziel is the angel to call upon to help with astral projection and seeing, your next step and being able to see beyond the physical realm. So crazy. If you are looking for knowledge or if you're having issues understanding your subconscious or anything like that, Raziel is your angel. And the affirmation you can use is, I am open to deeper messages and magic from spirit.
I'm open to deeper messages and magic from spirit.
Yeah. So that's all I got for today.
That's really cool.
Channeled.
You got a lot. That's all I got, but you really packed it in there within 55 minutes.
Yeah. Angel numbers, 55.
Yeah. Maybe we can end it at 55.
All right. Well, then if so, we got to do it quick. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned. Next episode, we're going to do another discussion on the angels, and we got special announcements to be made.
Yeah.
I think it's time
to stay awake
and shine on always.
For many of us, spirituality is just the quest to find essence or true meaning and to really just connect with a higher consciousness.
Connecting with your spirituality is very important in this life. By becoming mindful of all of it, you can realize where you are and if that is leading you to where you want to go.
Listen to the little simple things, because it's those little simple things that are going to shift you vibrationally in such a way that will prepare you to become very intuitively minded and ready to step forward on the next part of your path.
I hope you can feel the love that's inside you, it's inside me, that connects us.
Thanks for shining on with us.